The following is a presentation of The Day.
As we reach the midpoint of the ECC basketball season, one question certainly remains. Can anyone beat St. Bernard? It has been a very good week for the boys on the Hill. Tyson Wheeler returned to the lineup. Cedric Similian scored his 1,000th career point, and Mark Jones's Saints have never been healthier or deeper. They remain undefeated in league play and have risen to each challenge for their top spot. NFA fell, then Fitch, then New London. So the question remains, who can take down the Saints? How about Windham? The Whippets, off of last year's Division II ECC Championship and Division V State Championship, are finally all together and playing great basketball. The Mangual trio are on the court, and Coach Paul Martineau has the deepest team of his tenure. This group knows they can win, and nothing would springboard them more than a win over the Saints. It's a battle to be the ECC's top dog. The Whippets come to the little school on the hill to battle the Saints. Stars abound and expectations rise, and it's all live on Game Day on theday.com.
Battle for the top spot in the ECC. It's a dogfight between the St. Bernard Saints and the Windham Whippets here at the little school on the hill, and all the action, of course, is live on Game Day. Game Day is brought to you by Waterford Dental Health. All that is good begins with a smile. At Waterford Dental Health, your smile is our top priority. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you the personalized dental care that you deserve. So contact us today. Visit us at waterforddentalhealth.com for more information. Casey O'Neill along with the coach Chris Giusti, and all year long we've seen St. Bernard sitting atop the ECC, pushing off all comers. They got rid of Fitch, they got rid of New London, they got rid of NFA. Well, finally it's Windham's turn, and because we are happy when these things happen, Windham is all on the court tonight. Everyone's available. NFA fell short most recently. Windham healthy, stepping up tonight with their chance.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's one of those games in the middle of the season that we're still a distance away from the state tournament. So this is a big marquee matchup. And talking to Coach Jones earlier this week, he said, at this point, they're all big games. And we need to keep winning to get home court in the state tournament. This is not a game they can overlook, that they can mail in, because they still have some very difficult regular season games. And he said, Coach, think about last year when we played Bassick in the state tournament. If that game was in Bridgeport, it might have went a different way. So St. Bernard's is going to be motivated to keep winning. And for Windham, a chance that their fully established roster to make a leap and say, wait a minute, we're the defending state champions in this league. Recognize what we can do.
Well, we want to recognize what this guy can do, our own George Hathaway. Tell us what you got, George.
Guys, we are sure in for a treat here tonight. The Windham Whippets coming to this ball game 7-3 overall, and St. Bernard Saints coming to the ball game 9-2 overall. And guys, this has a playoff vibe to it, and Windham knows a little bit something about that, as they are the reigning Division II ECC champions, and St. Bernard's looking to take that title this year. And that's the vibe that's here tonight. You can tell it's on the court. The fans are also excited here at St. Bernard. And for the Whippets, they want to take down the top dog in the ECC. They're going to have to play the same pace that St. Bernard's has been playing all season long. That's fast-paced offense, a very physical defense. So expect to see a lot of that here on game day.
Thank you, George. And absolutely, Coach, St. Bernard's, they love to go up and down the floor, right? They love to run. And so as they're doing that, Windham also likes to run, right? They also like to get up and down the floor. No team has been able to sustain that with St. Bernard's. Windham is going to try, and that's going to be an interesting matchup. The other part is, this is only game 2 with Lexi Mangual being back on the floor for Windham. And when he's on the floor, they are an entirely different team, as Griswold found out when he first came back.
Yeah, and to your point about the up-tempo style, like Coach Jones likes that. Coach Jones says if you press us, we're just going to get more possessions. So it'll be interesting if Windham plays to their strengths or if they maybe try to do something different. I think, looking strategically at how do you beat this St. Bernard's team, it might be changing defenses, making them play a half-court game, making them have to make multiple passes before they take a shot. And we'll see if Windham does that tonight.
Well, there's a lot of players in tonight's game. Let's meet all of them, the players for tonight's game.
Jack Jenkins, Sweeney Elementary.
Julian Cruz, Windham Center.
Zach Robinson Smay, the Charles H. Barrow STEM Academy.
Taj Jones, Windham Center Elementary.
Monsky Custodio, Windham Center Elementary.
Malcolm Hunter, Charles H. Barrow STEM Academy.
Eric Rivera, Natchog Elementary.
Darian Jenkins, Sweeney Elementary.
Alexander A. Pomo, North Windham School.
Victor Mejia, Windham Center.
Anthony Green, North Windham Elementary.
Tyler Manguel, North Windham Elementary.
Travis Manguel Jr., the Natchog Elementary.
Isaiah Manguel, Natchog Elementary.
Cedric Similian, the Trench City School.
Shem Adams, Family Elementary.
Tygusian, the St. James School.
Amir Gray, Galville Elementary.
Colin O'Leary, S.B. Butler Elementary.
Justin Allo, Where's the Funk Elementary.
Tyson Wheeler, A.A. Ron, Elementary.
Alex Johnson, Windham Tech Elementary.
Jack Philstein, RMS Elementary.
Ryan Outlaw, AFRO Academy. Zane Baton, Shamit Central School.
Anthony DeMarco, the St. James School.
Amari Marshall, RMS Elementary.
Jacob Widener, DHW Elementary School.
Well, it's time now for some freshly squeezed juice. The keys to the game brought to you by the Holy Club, the premier indoor golf facility and lounge in southeastern Connecticut. They're located at 161 Water Street in downtown Norwich. Coach, what are the keys to tonight's game?
Casey, for Windham, Travis time. Big games need big players. The all-everything guard must score, pass, rebound, and defend for Windham to have a chance. No second chances. 5 on the defensive glass. Can't let St. B's get offensive rebounds and tip-ins. And mix it up. Use different defenses to control tempo and make St. B's execute in the half court. For St. Bernard, lock him up. Travis Manguel can take over a game. Can't let him get going offensively. Box him out. Can't let Lexi Manguel get offensive rebounds. And value the ball. Turnovers will allow the Whippets to get out in transition and score easy baskets, make good decisions with the basketball.
So going back a little bit to what makes the Saints so difficult, I happen to agree with you that, and that's a great, astute, observation by Coach Jones, right? Press us, we get more possessions. I think St. Bernard's is the most dangerous team in transition that we have because they can do so much. They can run the floor for layups, like a guy like Similian Marshall running the floor. But I think Wheeler becomes harder to defend in transition. He is so good at mixing up his looks and popping out to space. You can sort of figure out where he is in a half-court set. He becomes difficult, easy to lose in transition, and so many good three-point shooters are that way. It's defending them in the half court is one thing, defending them in transition's another. So I think the Saints become, if not easier to guard, or certainly a little more predictable when you can get them into the half court. But that's not as easy to do because talk a little bit about what they do so well getting into transition that makes them tough to keep in a half court.
Well, it starts with their man-to-man defense. They don't stray too much from playing good old-fashioned solid man-to-man. They're going to hedge high on screens. They're going to stick with their man. They're not going to switch a lot, guard-to-guard switches, but they're not going to give themselves mismatches. So they always have their big men in position to rebound, and they have done a great job rebounding the basketball with Marshall and Ryan Outlaw this year. And that allows them to get out in transition because they know those guys are going to get the rebounds.
The quick leaping Travis Manguel wins the tip, and it goes into the hands of Taj Jones. And the first set of the game will be for the Whippets. Julian Cruz, a sophomore guard with the basketball. You'll see 3 Manguals, Jones, and Cruz. Of course, St. Bernard's, Semillian, Marshall, Outlaw, Gray, and Wheeler.
And Semillion's drawn the matchup on Travis Mangual early.
Missed 3, tipped out. Here comes Gray in the other direction. And an easy opportunity, but Outlaw with the rebound and putback, he'll go to the line. That was an easy look for Gray, missed the easy layup, but there's the second chance already. Outlaw goes to the line.
Yeah, and it starts with the tip out. You know, Ryan's down there, and then he runs the floor. He doesn't take for granted that his teammate's going to make the layup, runs the floor, gets the offensive rebound. He's helped them so much. Coach Jones can't say enough about how much Ryan Outlaw has helped develop this team's identity, and it's allowed Amari Marshall to flourish in a more versatile role, playing inside out.
So I'm going to give you a number, 10. Semillian can't get it to go, and that's the number. Semillian on Mangual. If Semillian can score within 10 points of what he holds Mangual to, it makes St. Bernard's almost impossible, because he's such a dynamic scorer as well, is the scintillating one, Cedric Semillian.
He's so good in transition, got his 1,000th point the other night against NFA. He's gotten so much better year after year. Talking to Coach Jones, he came here, stayed all 4 years, and you see what he can do in the open floor.
Inbounds. Jones will inbounds. Finds Mangual, little jumper from the elbow, and that's good, and that's all day for Travis Mangual.
A nice design on the out-of-bounds play there to get Travis the jumper, get him to settle down.
Outlaw drives, spins, probably didn't need to spin, had the angle, but Mangual is so big and strong. Now Wheeler's on Mangual. Oh, the big steps. 2 big leaps for Mangual. He's so good at getting to the rim.
And just like that, Windham in the lead.
Amari Marshall pulls up, no good. Jones the other way for the Whippets. Lexi Mangual on Outlaw. That's a great matchup. Gray got the cutter. Windham a little out of sync right now. Marshall clears. Semillian knocks down the 3. Last time we saw St. Bernard's against New London, we saw Tyson Wheeler go down. He is back. He's been back 1 game, but he avoided what could be a very serious injury and is playing in some discomfort, and that's just a show of this kid's toughness, is that he got a rib injury and is out here playing with it, and it's no secret that he's a talented player, but his toughness has never been more apparent, as he missed less than a week before he got back on the floor.
Yeah, and the leadership, what Coach Jones talks about a lot is that these seniors that he has on the floor have really given this team a foundation where they're very confident every game that they go out, and it's because of the leadership of Wheeler, Semillian, and Ryan Outlaw.
Gray. And Tyler Mangual got the steal, but lost it. And this is where we know the 3 Manguals and what they kind of bring to the table, but Julian Cruz and Taj Jones need to play error-free, because you're going to be under constant pressure from Gray, Wheeler, Semillian.
Windham in the man-to-man as well.
Double teaming Gray. Wheeler with his first open look. Oh, in and out. Tipped by Marshall, and Semillian gathers it underneath. Cedric, his 1,000 points have come all over the place. He's got 7, and we've seen him in every different facet here.
And 2 early offensive rebounds for Cedric. He's a sneaky good offensive rebounder.
Mangual drives, loses it. It'll stay here. Now, we see Travis Mangual guarding Tyson Wheeler on one end, being guarded by Similian. That's a tough night for Mangual. They're going to look to make him work on both ends.
Yeah, and that's what makes Cedric so special, is that he's going to be one of the primary scorers, but he wants to guard the best player on their roster. And that's what gives the St. Bernard's team that identity on defense.
I can tell you right now, Windham needs to get Lexi Mangual a touchdown low. The kid's got great moves. Right now, they're focused on the perimeter. A nice floater. Julian Cruz. Wheeler head up, pushing the other way through traffic. Kicks out. Similian kicks out Gray. Good ball movement by the Saints, and finally Marshall knocks down a three. And if Amari Marshall is knocking down threes, that's a bad sign, because that's the shot you want to give them. And if he's knocking those down, that's a problem.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good defensive possession by Windham. You know, looking just the eyeball test, Windham has the physical attributes to match up with St. Bernard. They have the speed, they have some size now with Lexi in there, but they have to execute and make shots.
Similian drives underneath, finds Marshall. And the biggest lead of the game for the Saints, it's 13-6. Oh, nice split by Mangual, pulls up at the foul line, in and out. There's Lexi Mangual, and he gets fouled on the floor as he goes back up. But there's a good example. Everyone wants to jump high. Travis did a great job seeing it and splitting it.
No, that was a high-level college guard move to be able to split that high hedge that St. Bernard's gives so many teams trouble with.
Oh, good give and go, but the basket doesn't go down for Mangual. Lexi Mangual gets tied up with with Amir Gray. Now, I mentioned St. Bernard's being the deepest they've been. Part of that is on the floor right now, number 13, Alex Johnson. He had to sit out 10 games, but he's back. And so he and Colin O'Leary, a pair of juniors, into the game. They provide a little bit of veteran and as well as some scoring. You see Johnson step right into a three-pointer and knock it down. And that is a big lift. The kid is a scorer, and we got a timeout immediately. Full timeout, which means we'll take a timeout. Brought to you by the Burns Agency.
You buy better. Better with Burns. Much better. So much better with Burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better with Burns. You buy better with Burns. You buy better.
The Burns Agency can feel it, and we know you feel it too. Fall is here. Crisp air, falling leaves, pumpkin everything, and football. So much football. With a new season upon us, it's a great opportunity to take a quick time out and make sure your insurance program is in order. The Burns Agency is here to help you play by play. Strong coverage, dependable service, and touchdown savings. Give us a call or visit us online. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 19.
Gray, great vision, finds Johnson, and come off the bench. You know, haven't shot in a while. That stroke looked pretty good.
And we've talked about it on previous broadcasts. The best threes are inside-out threes. Gray penetrates, puts the pass right on the money. All Johnson has to do is step into it and let it fly. I asked Coach Jones, what is it about this kid that makes him such a good shooter? He said his shot is always the same. Whether he misses it or he makes it, it looks the same every time.
Gray steps in, almost gets the steal, but Windham comes back the other way. Hanging in the air, Jones, Mangual gets the putback, and he's going to go to the line. Lexi Mangual grabbed it, and they need him to attack the glass. Wyndham's been way too much one and done.
Yeah, you touched on it a couple possessions ago, Casey. I think Windham has to make a concerted effort to get low post touches and try to slow this game down by getting some of their big guys in foul trouble, St. Bernard big guys in foul trouble, or just getting some easy buckets inside. This frenetic pace, it just plays into the favor of the Saints. So let's see if they can get the big man more involved.
He's got such great footwork. He looks like an offensive lineman because he is one. And he's a very talented offensive lineman, but he gets down on the block. He's got really exquisite footwork. Amir Gray pulls up. Free throw line, no good. Johnson, though, with a rebound, but he loses it. And then Mangual loses it. We're going to say it stays with the Saints, or it goes over to the Saints. Anthony Green into the ball game for Windham. He's going to give Tyler Mangual a breather. Green with length as well. Coach Martineau says he plays like a big, so they got him down on the block. O'Leary with a three, no good. Look at Amari Marshall work underneath, though. You listen, they might outplay you. You can't let them outwork you.
Bernard staying in the man-to-man, doing a good job here.
Nice
O'Leary.
crossover by Mangual. And they're going to get a travel. He slipped on his way. I'm glad that it was just that. I thought that looked a little more painful, and it turned out okay. Malcolm Hunter, another sophomore. So, Windham has the seniors with the Manguals, Travis and Lexi. But after that, you're seeing junior, sophomore. So a lot of youth on the floor, but both teams right now.
Yeah, and a lot of depth from both teams.
Long three from Johnson, no good, but look at Amir Gray over the top of Cruz and the putback. 20-7, the Saints.
Yeah, one of the keys to the game for Windham was no second chances. And boy, oh boy, has St. Bernard got a lot of second chances tonight.
Turnover. Outlaw in the other direction. Pump fake, and he put it little stutter step.
I think he might have slid possibly when he landed on two there. But we saw, Lexi Mangual wasn't available for the game against Fitch, but we saw Fitch just punish Windham on the offensive glass in that victory for the Falcons. And right now, Windham is still having problems with getting defensive rebounds.
Mangual tried to get it to Green, turns it over. Outlaw kicks. Johnson, quick trigger three, no good. Again, Amari Marshall. Blocked by Green, but Marshall working the offensive glass for St. Bernard's.
What an unselfish play by Ryan Outlaw there. I mean, he was like 7 feet from the hoop, and 90% of high school kids are going to shoot that shot, but he found a wide open shooter on the perimeter.
Miscommunication, turnover. Mangual comes the other direction for Windham. And Mangual will be fouled on his way to the basket with 21 seconds remaining in the quarter. Here's the other problem. It's great to talk about trying to limit the Saints' possessions, get them into the half court. When you're down 13 right off the rip, which they're so good at going on spurts, it's hard to slow a game down and make up a 13-point deficit.
Yeah, when you're getting into a hole against this team, it's hard. And it started with the offensive rebound. So the first thing that Windham will make some free throws first. The second thing is they're going to have to get defensive rebounds. They must limit the Saints to one shot on a possession if they want to chip away at this lead.
12-point lead. The Saints will have the last shot of the quarter if they want it. Gray slows it down, so the Saints will look for the last shot. Gray being guarded by Hunter. Gets a screen from Outlaw. Gray, little look away, strong layup, and he can't get it to go down. We're at the end of one. The Saints are up 12. Second quarter action on the other side. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
The Holy Club, the premier indoor golf facility and lounge in southeastern Connecticut. Featuring Foresight Sports Simulator technology, you can test your game on the greatest courses in the world. Want to improve your swing? Schedule a lesson with their on-site PGA Pro. Want to host an event? The lounge offers the perfect setting to watch all the big games. Gift cards are available and make the perfect stocking stuffer for this holiday season. Don't wait. Stop by the Holy Club, 161 Water Street in downtown Norwich. Pave the way for your students' financial success with a MySci account from Scient Federal Credit Union. Open a high-yield MySci savings account today and help support a positive financial future for your student. Visit scientfcu.org to learn more.
You know, we talked about St. Bernard's having a lot of guys. How do you share the ball? Well, one way to be unselfish and help your team is to make your own opportunities. We've seen Amari Marshall, Cedric Semillian, Amir Gray, all crashing the offensive glass, showing that, you know, they don't need to be directly involved necessarily to find ways to contribute and score. You know, if you can't, I get why Amari Marshall, but you got to keep Amir Gray off the glass.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a mentality. That's a toughness. And, you know, Windham, you know, they're not playing the lower division teams anymore. They're going to have to ratchet it up. They've got the athletes here, and I know these guys are good ball players, but they just have to get used to this speed that St. Bernard's plays with.
Mangual blocked by Marshall. Travis Mangual, fadeaway, no good. Tipped, Semillian. Saints will push, great look to Wheeler, and Tyson lost it out of bounds back to Windham. Interesting, Gray and Outlaw now get a seat. So right now the Saints playing 7 deep, so they leave Johnson and O'Leary on the floor. Semillian and Wheeler come back. So they're rotating right now, and that's more, I can tell you already, that's more rest than Amir Gray's gotten in most games this year. This is a huge, we still haven't seen Jonah Eddy or Grudson or some of the other guys that have played. The Saints can go, I haven't even mentioned, you know, guys like Outlaw and Philistine and other guys. The Saints can go 10 deep very easily. But right now, this 7 is allowing them to get minutes on the bench for every one of their starters.
And 6 and 7 have very specialized roles. Believe it or not, Coach Jones says his best man-to-man defender is Colin O'Leary.
Which is why he came in, and even though Cedric's in the game, he's on Mangual.
And we know that Johnson is a knockdown three-point shooter. So when you have those specialty subs, you want to get them more reps in games like this so they'll be ready for those big moments in those big games.
Another thing, you know, Johnson's long. You know, he comes into the game and he's listed at 6'2", and I think he's a long 6'2". We talk about, you know, the arms. So he comes in, and he and O'Leary, they're long. Add Semillian and Amari Marshall. This is a long team on the floor right now, you know, and that's, as we talked about, maybe more than height, right? Length, and what length can do.
Yeah, 100%, and the quickness. I mean, it's a very quick team. Quick, not only quick feet, but quick hands.
Turnover this time by Hunter. I want to acknowledge what Tyson Wheeler, though. He missed the left-handed layup, but his level of basketball savvy is off the charts. He had his defender on his hip and went slow enough to leave him sitting on his hip till he got to the foul line and then exploded so that his defender couldn't catch up. I mean, that's not something you teach. That's just an understanding. Steal, Mangual. Tyler Mangual drives, hangs, no good. Marshall, strong rebound, up ahead to Johnson. The left-handed finish is good.
They just get out so quick. I mean, Marshall got the rebound and Johnson was at half court.
Hold by Johnson on Tyler Mangual. And we're going to see subs coming in. So Outlaw's going to come back in. So is Gray. And we're going to get our first look of Justin Outlaw. And so this is, again, you know, depth. Now they're at 8-man. At the half, New London 35, Waterford 28. A, I think that game will be 20 at the end. B, Waterford, that's a nice job to stay within 7 on a Waterford team that is still trying to find themselves. NFA Fitch with a late start. That's the one we talked about we'll be interested in as well.
Wyndham's got to try to get the ball moving. Too much dribbling right now, too much ISO. That plays right into St. Bernard's hands.
Mangual slips in that same spot, and he goes up. He'll get fouled. He'll go to the line. So when you got a scorer like Travis Mangual, you get him in the ball in his hands, he can do good things.
Well, that time they brought him off a curl, and I like that because they got him the ball at the elbow. So he didn't have to start, you know, 35 feet from the hoop, dribble it 17 times to go 5 feet. he got the ball already in a position where he was a threat to score. And that's what they have to do a little bit more of, because St. Bernard's is so good at stopping penetration and helping off of guys and leaving the right guys open and locking down your best guys.
Justin Outlaw with the rebound. Semillian for three, short. Green rebounds, up ahead it goes. Cruz with the basketball, guarded by Gray. Hands, we're gonna have another foul. That's gonna be a 1-and-1 here. So Tyler Mangual will go to the line. He'll shoot a 1-and-1. And with 5:41 remaining, that's a lot of free throws against an aggressive Saints defense. So you gotta knock these down.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Coach Jones has talked about that drives him crazy, is that they don't have to reach, just slide your feet. He probably wasn't going anywhere, but they bailed him out there. But on the other side, you know, St. Bernard's will take some interesting shots, to say the least, as Wheeler picks up the foul there. And that will, if they miss those shots, Casey, that will allow Windham to chip away, but Windham has to take advantage of their possessions. They missed the front end there.
One of the things we've seen a lot of, Johnson for three, back iron, in, out, and rebound to Windham. You can't try to jump Saints when they rebound on the defensive end, because they outlet so fast. You got to get back, and we see a lot of jumping the rebounder, trying to slow up the outlet pass. That doesn't work against the Saints because they outlet so well. There's a nice take to the basket that time by Tyler Mangual, and Windham hanging around with 11 now. Semillian drives, hangs, and scores.
Whenever you need a settle down possession, get it to Cedric.
Almost a steal by Wheeler. And on line was Mangual, so it'll be a turnover to St. Bernard. Taj Jones will check back in for Windham, and he will give Anthony Green a rest.
One of the things you can do to combat that leak out or that quick transition is you designate a guy that he's not going to crash the offensive glass. You just tell him, you got to get back every shot that St. Bernard's takes.
I'll tell you right now, Alex Johnson has the green light. He is not afraid to let it go, which I think is exactly the right thing. Because there's going to be more often than not when he knocks those things down. He knocked down the first one, it's been a little icy since then. Mangual tips it around. Outlaw lets it go. It'll be St. Bernard basketball, and O'Leary will check back in.
A lid on the rim for Windham the last couple of possessions. But they picked up the intensity here, but they're going to have to cash in some points to get back into this game.
Wheeler to Semillian. Long three, no good, and Outlaw's going to get a push off on the other side. And already in the 1-and-1 is Windham. That's a good call on Justin. He was not in bad position, but the ball just didn't bounce where he was, and he gave that little nudge. I was very savvy in my push-offs.
Well, another 1-and-1 opportunity for Windham.
And getting it to go is Cruz.
But St. Bernard's, you know, Coach Jones, he does give them the freedom with the shot selection, but they have taken a bunch of threes in these last few possessions, and that does allow other teams to chip away when they're not making those threes.
Mangual had a nice offensive rebound, kick out, and three from Julian Cruz. Windham with a little bit of life. Single digits. Windham in a little 1-2-2, coach. Wheeler long three, that's going to be short. Numbers for Windham. Mangual finishes at the rim. He's so good.
4 of the last 5 possessions have been threes for St. Bernard's. Missed threes. It's allowed Windham to get to 7. Looks like they're still sticking with the man.
Wheeler, long 3, no good. Tipped ball on the floor still. Semillian, look at the hustle. Finds Outlaw. Basket is good, and the foul. Ryan Outlaw, go fist bump Cedric Semillian, because his absolute tenacity got you a chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, those 50-50 balls are killers. Sometimes the ball just bounces the wrong way. Coach Martineau not happy with the call, but once again, St. Bernard with a lot of threes, and we've seen how when they move the ball, get inside-out threes, they're so much better, and they're so physical inside when they could get it to Marshall and Outlaw. They might be a little bored right now.
Look at Travis Mangual, take off, draw the foul, he'll get to the line. He got the rebound on one end, and he was gone. Travis Mangual is playing like a state champion, like an all-star, like a guy who wants to lead his team.
Yeah, you don't want to let him get going, because that's a boulder down the mountain that you don't want to face. So they did a good job early on of frustrating him. I thought he was getting frustrated, kind of trying to do too much. The last couple possessions, he's been able to get into the paint, get some easier looks, and only down 9.
You know, when you wear 23, you know, you're that's a statement number in basketball. There's only one 23, but when you wear it, you're saying, you know, I'm the guy. That's what I want to be. And what I like about Mangual is he understands when the moment needs him to be. It's that play where he grabs the rebound and is gone, that's the right time. You know, he wasn't trying to do too much, and he was using his hustle. Great look from Outlaw to O'Leary. I love it. O'Leary couldn't get it to go. Up ahead, quick 3 is short, but Wheeler's going to foul Cruz, and Julian Cruz is going to shoot 3 with a chance to cut this thing to as close as 4. And with 2:30 left, Windham's in the double bonus the rest of the way.
Yeah, a couple things. Last possession, you were right, Casey. Windham did switch it up. They were in a 1-2-2. And once again, they forced a shot from, I guess, not one of the premier scorers on the Saints. But the other thing, and I think, you know, every coach is different. I just think that St. Bernard's fell in love with the 3-point shot too early in this game when they were just getting anything they wanted to going to the basket. So they got to just bunker down now and battle again, because we got a ball game, which is what we wanted.
2:30, Amari Marshall has been quiet after crashing the glass. Amir Gray back in the game has been quiet since crashing the glass. That's another point. I think Windham's done a much better job limiting the second chance opportunities for the Saints. Great touch pass to Wheeler. Outlaw puts it on the floor, which he probably shouldn't have, but he gets rewarded, draws the foul, he'll go to the line.
But I will say he knows how to, everybody's saying just go up, but Ryan, his older brother did that a lot too. He knows how to draw fouls. He was able to get the guy up in the air, and probably should have finished an and one and get the old-fashioned 3-point play. So, yeah, some people will say should have went up right away, but if that shot falls, then it's a 3-point play.
Ifs, yep, ifs and nuts, ifs and buts. I don't know, there's some adage there, I can't figure it out. Outlaw misses the second one. Windham's got numbers. Semillian got popped in the mouth. Marshall, great job slowing up Mangual. Mangual drives, kicks. 3 is good. Julian Cruz, he's got the green light.
And they have let the Whippets get their confidence back. And now you're seeing a team that knows that they can hang with the Saints.
Steal. Mangual, reverse, no good, but he steals it back. 3, Jones in, we are tied at 27. Timeout St. Bernard. Taj Jones gets the friendly roll, and we got ourselves a brand new ball game.
You can't underestimate the heart of a champion. You knew that this win, like I said early on, the eyeball test, Casey, tells you that personnel-wise, in terms of physical traits, athleticism, basketball skills, Windham looks every bit the part that St. Bernard is. But what they didn't have maybe coming into this game was the experience playing in these types of games with this speed. That one game against Fitch that we saw, they had a hard time with Fitch's pressure and their speed. And early on, it looked like they had a hard time with the Saints' speed. But St. Bernard's let them creep back in with a couple ill-advised shots, and now the confidence is blooming for the Whippets.
Well, I will be fascinated to hear what's going on down closer to the floor. George Hathaway, what are you hearing?
First off, guys, this place is electric. The Windham fans certainly came in big numbers. You can barely hear anything right now in this gymnasium. The head coach, Mark Jones, for St. Bernard's was telling them to play unselfish basketball. You know, find each other, get open looks, because that's what this game's now come down to, especially with the tie ball game at 27 with over a minute and a half now left in the first half.
Windham sticking with this 1-2-2. They'll trap when they have a chance to.
Open look for Wheeler, no good. Outlow, and that's the hard part about a zone, right? Outlow can't get it to finish. Got a rebound out of the zone. And Amari Marshall, he loves that baseline jumper and knocks it down. Similian picking up Mangual in the backcourt. After this possession, I'm going to make an observation here, a little high-low with the Manguals. Three, got it! Julian Cruz and Fuego! Outlow bullies his way to the basket. He'll shoot two. That's a nice response by St. Bernard's, and Ryan Outlow knows that he can get to the basket when he needs to.
Yeah, he's unstoppable with that land-on-two move. He's going to draw the foul every time. And they just have to be patient now and just execute because the threes aren't falling.
So there's part A and B of my observation. Part A is, in order for Windham, you want to know how do you get back in a 13-point deficit. You need threes to go down. And they've been knocking those threes down. That's how you get back in a ball game. Part two was, we said, St. Bernard's depth means that players 4 and 5 for Windham need to step up. It's Julian Cruz and Taj Jones. Those are the guys that knock the threes down, especially Cruz. So it's not Mangual. Travis is getting to the basket, and the other guys are knocking down threes. That's how Windham got back in it, those other guys. Open look three, no good from Jones, tipped around. Anthony Green, he can't finish, it's tipped. Saints have numbers. Here comes Wheeler to Similian. And we're gonna get a block. Saints want goaltending, but I think you're gonna have to settle for Similian shooting too.
Yeah, Cedric is so good with his body control and just drew that block with the Euro step. He speeds up and slows down, and he's got that men's league game already. And, you know, getting the ball to Similian and Outlow, I think, in the paint is how the Saints can build their lead back up.
I will say the free throw shooting has been discouraging for both teams. I think both coaches are going to say at halftime, guys, we got to do a better job knocking down our free throws. Windham wanted the last shot to go in 30-30. They got such a good look that they ended up taking it anyway. Now with 13 seconds left, they'll get the last shot here, down one. Mangual, he's going to have to take it. Three at the buzzer. Oh, it's good! It's good! Travis Mangual, TMJ. A three at the buzzer.
Lost his shoe, Casey.
The shoe comes off, but it don't matter because the slipper fits right now. We're at halftime. It's 33-31, and George is going to talk with Paul Martineau, Coach, you were down. Now you got a lead. George.
Coach, so first off, it was a slow start for you guys, but going into that second quarter, what did you tell you guys to kind of now take this lead at halftime?
Well, we just basically weren't running any offense at all, and we missed a lot of layups, and I think we went to our press a little bit, our three-quarter court, half-court, 1-2-2 press, and I think we opened up some things for us.
Coach, what is your message to your team at halftime to carry this momentum now?
This game ain't over. It's far from over. There's 16 minutes left, and they ain't laying down for us. And we knew coming in this was going to be a very tough opponent. Probably the best team in the ECC. So we just got to come out and play hard. Can't get in a hole like that to start the third quarter, though.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck second half.
Thank you, George. We are at halftime. An improbable 2-point lead for the Windham Whippets. We are excited for the second half. We want you to stay tuned. After some ads, we're going to have the Philomena's features. You can find out a little bit more about the unselfish Amari Marshall and the Mangual Trio in Windham, all on game day, live on theday.com.
Being part of a great community is so important. People helping and supporting others can be very uplifting and contagious. At Philomena's Restaurant, that's exactly what you get. It's the community hub for not just Waterford, but all of southeastern Connecticut. Birthday parties, anniversary dinners, weddings, sports banquets, a drink with friends, and of course, charity events. Philomena's has been, is, and will always be there for the community. Celebrate and support southeastern Connecticut at Philomena's. Philomena's, Utopia Plaza in Waterford.
Pave the way for your students' financial success with a MySci account from Scient Federal Credit Union. Open a high-yield MySci savings account today and help support a positive financial future for your student. Visit scientfcu.org to learn more.
And starting at forward, a 6'6" sophomore, number 24, Amari Marshall.
All right, if you had your preference, would you play on the wing or underneath?
Definitely the wing. I move a lot more on the wing.
Amari Marshall, that's an aggressive play at the basket.
But that's kind of not sometimes what they need here.
Yeah.
How difficult is that for you?
It's not too difficult. I feel like I'm good around moving without the ball and going to different positions. I feel like I can play 1 through 5.
Good Marshall, though, with the rebound. And a nice spin move with the right hand.
He does it all. I mean, he rebounds, he shoots the three, he shoots the mid-range.
Marshall buries it from the high post.
He can handle it. He's one of our better ball handlers.
Amari, where did that come from?
So I convinced him to play more on the wing. When we need it, he can go down low too. I mean, he's probably the most versatile kid in our league. Defensively, he's just everywhere.
Marshall says, get that shot out of here.
Has having Ryan here helped you?
Yes, it helped me a lot.
In what ways?
Mostly on the defensive end, contesting other bigs, getting rebounds, and with the helps I do, it really helps. Takes pressure off me.
Blocked by Marshall.
It's all about winning, and all the kids that we have are winners, and they want to win. And they're very unselfish. I mean, they share the ball. They're not worrying about their shots. I mean, it's a really family-oriented team, and all they want to do is win. Like, they don't complain about shot attempts. They don't complain that they're not scoring as much as they would, and it's worked.
Oh, but look at Marshall. Cleaning it up underneath. No answer for Amari Marshall.
How are you guys a different team now from, say, the Ridgefield team that didn't go so well?
We really matured from that game. It showed us we can't just go into a game and just show up. We really got to go hard every single play and do the dirty work, especially throughout the game.
Tip by Marshall. The Saints are relentless.
At The Day, we pride ourselves on giving our readers the best coverage of local high school sports. Whether in-depth stories, photos and video, or columns, our dedicated reporters are on the sidelines covering it all, providing you with the stats, analysis, and commentary you've grown to know and trust. Subscribe today at theday.com to receive full access to all our coverage.
It's family on the court and off the court. We're always going at it. We've been playing since we were kids.
Since we were little kids, we've always been playing each other, playing with each other.
I think this was in 3rd grade. We all were playing together and just working our hardest. I'm pretty sure we won the rec league that year.
it's crazy because we talk about Griswold all the time being triplets, and then I get two of my family members on the same team with me, and it's just crazy. Oh, practices are rough, and especially after practice, we go at it. And our parents tell us all the time, off the court is off the court. You can't argue, and what stays on the court is on the court. But I always yell at these two. Well, my brother Tyler, he hustles. He's a workhorse. He's everywhere. He does things that don't show up in the stat line.
He's a hustler. He always hustles. He always works hard no matter what.
And then my cousin, he rebounds. He's a presence in the paint. I think we get 15-plus rebounds just by him being in the game.
Lexi's a big man, but although everyone sees him as big, like he's doing skill player moves to get to the basket. He's doing everything that the team needs to succeed. While Travis, on the other hand, he can facilitate. He can pass to me down low or Lexi down low while we're flashing, or he can knock down the three-pointer, which is a big part of the team that we need.
Who's the most competitive of the three?
I'm going to have to say me.
I like to say me. I don't like losing.
Travis says Travis, Lexi says Lexi, but they both know it's me, so it doesn't matter. I could beat them in any sport, soccer, lacrosse, you name it. I'll just compete and work my hardest to out anything them.
Being part of a great community is so important. People helping and supporting others can be very uplifting and contagious. At Philomena's Restaurant, that's exactly what you get. It's the community hub for not just Waterford, but all of southeastern Connecticut. Birthday parties, anniversary dinners, weddings, sports banquets, a drink with friends, and of course, charity events. Philomena's has been, is, and will always be there for the community. Celebrate and support southeastern Connecticut at Philomena's. Philomena's, Utopia Plaza in Waterford.
After the game, find us on social media at GameDayCT for our interview with the Foxwoods Player of the Game. And check out all the great entertainment coming this winter at Foxwoods. Go to foxwoods.com/entertainment. It's the Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all.
Ruthless. Scintillating.
Welcome to Dudleyville.
Shout out to the Red Sea, representing the Wildcats. It's butter.
Boo for 2. No scoring over 1.
Everything's better with bacon.
Tight. So nice. Viking Valley, ECC champs.
Dog pound. State champs.
Did someone say state champs?
We got next.
Nah, we're what's next. It's game day.
Well, it's one thing to knock down a buzzer beater. It's another thing to do it with your shoe on the floor. But Travis Mangual managed to do both. The 3 at the buzzer gives Windham, that's right, Windham, a 2-point halftime lead, 33-31. Coach, talk about that first half and how we got here, because I'm still trying to convince myself Windham has a 2-point lead.
Well, Coach Martineau hit it on the head in his halftime interview. They weren't running anything at the beginning. They missed a lot of chippies. They didn't get defensive rebounds when St. Bernard's missed early shots in the first quarter, and St. Bernard's was able to build a lead, but then St. Bernard kind of just took their foot off the gas or just shifted into let's play a game of horse and started shooting threes, not making them, and slowly but surely Windham chipped away because they started making threes, the great equalizer in basketball. Then the confidence gets going. They put in the 1-2-2, get a couple of bad passes, bad shots, and lo and behold, you get it to your star at the end of the first half, and he makes a one-sneaker 3.
So the reason I was smiling there, Coach, is we had talked about teams 2, 3, and 4, right? And we were going to find out a lot. Well, Windham's got a 2-point lead at halftime. New London is clinging by fingernails, 59-55 against Waterford. And NFA's got a 6-point lead at the end of the first quarter against Fitch. So I know less now than I knew even moments ago.
Windham running a trap here right out of the second half.
Wheeler, 3 no good, but there's Marshall flying to the basket. That's a great offensive rebound and putback from Amari Marshall, and the Saints are going to trap.
Yeah, 1-2-1-1, full court press.
Mangual, no good. Simillion with a rebound. I think Travis wasn't sure what he wanted to do as he went up. I think he saw Lexi, saw an unfamiliar spot on the floor, and that left a little strong.
Windham has changed up the defenses a little bit here.
Amir Gray, wide open 3, top of the key, no good. Mangual, strong rebound. Up ahead, leaking. Oh, Amir Gray pins it on the backboard. Marshall loves that J from the baseline. That one's no good. A little sloppy here in the early going. But here comes Wheeler with numbers. Oh, what a look to Simillion. Tice. So nice. And a turnover. This St. Bernard's pressure is bothering Windham, and Coach Martineau wants a quick timeout. That's a good timeout right there. Early 6-0 run to start the half. 4-0 run to start the half, and Coach Martineau wants a timeout. So while we have this timeout, we'll give you a timeout from the Burns Agency.
You buy better. Better with Burns. Much better. So much better with Burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better with Burns. You buy better with Burns. You buy better.
The Burns Agency can feel it, and we know you feel it too. Fall is here. Crisp air, falling leaves, pumpkin everything, and football. So much football. With a new season upon us, it's a great opportunity to take a quick time out and make sure your insurance program is in order. The Burns Agency is here to help you play by play. Strong coverage, dependable service, and touchdown savings. Give us a call or visit us online. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1930.
Oh, look at this. Oh, no, I'm giving it to Cedric. What a nice look from Tyson Wheeler. Slowed it down, let him get in the air, and the Saints went from being down 2 to up 2, and they have the basketball.
Windham staying in this 1-2-2 half-court trap. It's causing some problems for the Saints.
Outlaw over Mangual. He'll draw the foul. He'll go to the line. And Ryan Outlaw's fired up. He says, get me the ball.
Yeah, that's how you break that particular defense. They want you right now. Windham would love it if they take another 3. It allows for, if you miss, it allows for a run out, get them in transition. They don't have to face the vaunted St. Bernard's man-to-man. But if St. Bernard's is just patient and gets it into the middle to either Marshall, Outlaw, or Simillion, they're going to get either a basket, a foul, or both.
Third foul on Lexi Mangual. I think what's important is Coach Jones preached being unselfish, right? Wheeler has not taken 3 open threes to instead try to get to the basket and get other players involved. And Outlaw is doing it on the offensive glass. And Amir Gray is doing it with the triple, and just like that, it's a 6-point Saint lead.
Saints back to the 1-2-1-1 full court press.
Marshall can't get it to go, but he's going to go to the line. Windham very much bothered by this pressure.
Yeah, it's a no-no. You can't throw the ball into the corner, the near side corner. It makes for the easiest trap available. You want to try to run the baseline after a made shot, get it to the far side, or get it into the middle to force St. Bernard to make a trap from a further distance. It also gives you more court vision looking up the floor instead of looking into the sideline.
In a flipping over to the girls' side of things for a moment, we'll be seeing Bacon Academy and New London, which is going to be a great matchup. Those two teams, Bacon Academy beat Rocky Hill, but Ledyard upsets Fitch, and we're going to see Bacon and Ledyard next week in the ECC. So the girls' side of things heating up as well. Nice move on the baseline, Taj Jones, and that's exactly what Windham needed. So it's nice to see as much confusion as there is on the boys' side. The girls' side is heating up as well as we head towards the tournaments.
Another quick one and done for the Saints. That's been the difference, allowing the Whippets to get back into it, limiting the Saints to one shot.
Mangual, he gets to the basket, draws the foul. The foul's going to be on Wheeler. 2 shots for Travis Mangual.
The Saints have wrestled back control of this game, but as long as the Whippets can limit St. Bernard to one shot on the offensive possession, they can hang around.
Well, I think the 1-2-2 is a defense that is bothering the Saints for sure. Where this run has come is because the Saints' pressure has really bothered Windham. So Windham needs to figure out how to break the Saints' pressure. I think the Saints will figure out this 1-2-2, but Windham needs to figure it out on the other side.
Yeah, and that's where switching defenses really is so beneficial in high school basketball.
And I'll give Ryan Outlaw a 3. Let him take that shot all day long. Oh, strong move to the basket by Tyler Mangual. He got up high, and he's running the floor.
Coach Jones beside himself now. Nobody matched up with the ball handler coming down the floor.
Another 3, this time by Amari Marshall's no good. Right back to the 3s.
St. Bernard's in the man-to-man. Semillian on Travis Mangual. Cousin Lexi out of the game right now with 3 fouls. This is borrowed time right now for Windham if they could chip away with Lexi on the bench.
Tyler Mangual drives to the hoop, and he gets fouled by Marshall. I think that's a little bit of a bailout right there. He was in no man's land.
But you could see the confidence in this Windham team. They were sleeping. It's that simple. They were sleeping in the first quarter. They weren't operating to their fullest potential, and now they have awoken, and we are going to have a battle.
Well, the ECC right now is filthy with talented sophomores. They're everywhere. And don't look now, but this Windham team, Julian Cruz, Malcolm Hunter, and Tyler Mangual, again, there's good sophomores everywhere. And when we shot our We're Next feature for game day, and I talked with Papa Mangual, and I asked him about the cousins being back with each other. He looked at me and he goes, oh, and my younger son's playing now too. And he gets this wicked grin on his face. He goes, he's gonna be a good one. like they were so excited about Tyler getting to play with, as part of this group, and you can see why. Oh, great look underneath. Gray to Marshall.
Long diagonal pass to break the pressure.
Mangual well defended by Outlaw. Up ahead, Gray running the floor, and just like that, back up to a 6-point lead. A reach in on Mangual, so he'll go and draw the foul. Gonna call that one on Wheeler with the reach. A final, New London did hold on, 67-62 over Waterford. So the Whalers continue to roll.
Coach Bassett not going down without a fight, though.
Now you can't. I think we may have seen them play one of their better games against East Lyme, but they need everything to go right, for them right now. They're operating with a thin margin for error. Open 3, high arcer, no good, but Green pump fakes, and he draws the foul on Outlaw, and Anthony Green will go to the line, and he'll shoot 2.
The pump fakes are working tonight, Casey. Both teams are hungry to get blocks, so if you throw a little pump fake in there before you shoot, you're going to draw a foul.
And once again here with, 4 fouls early here on the Saints. Windham's done well to get to the line. Green knocks it down.
And with Lexi on the bench, Casey, they're chipping away or staying in arm's length.
And I think you're going to see him there for the remainder of this quarter. As long as they can keep it, like you said, arm's length, 6 points, even maybe 8, they're going to leave him on the bench. They don't want him. They want him for the fourth quarter. Here's where the Saints are dangerous. Transition with Gray. Finds Outlow. Gray for 3. In and out. Semillian. Pump fake. And no good, but there it is again. He waited. Got his guy up in the air, and Semillian will shoot 2.
Offensive rebounds have really been a killer for Windham tonight because the Saints are not shooting the ball well from the perimeter. So that's exactly what they needed. They just need to secure these defensive rebounds.
First one good. One more for Semillian. Saints will pressure. Mangual goes up strong, hangs, and draws the foul on Outlow. That's a good move by Travis to get up to the basket.
The difference the last couple of possessions is Windham has gotten the ball to the middle of the floor. That's been such a big difference as opposed to when the press first came out at the beginning of the second half. The ball was getting trapped in the corner and they didn't see the middle of the floor. Now Windham's getting it to the middle of the floor quickly, and they're getting an odd man rush on the offensive end.
Outlow's got 3. He was a nice chat from Coach Jones explaining to him what he wants him to do. Mangual knocked the first one down.
And not so liberal with the substitutions this quarter is Coach Jones, but Colin O'Leary is in the game.
I like this because it lets Semillian get off of Mangual for a little bit too. Give Cedric a chance.
Got to use ball fakes against this 1-2-2. Don't want to dribble it too much against it.
Semillian for 3, no short iron, but he hustles to get his own rebound. And Outlow, strong is Ryan Outlow.
Good use of the ball fakes there by Windham to get the ball through the pressure. Didn't panic and throw it into the hands of the trap.
Yeah, Malcolm Hunter did a nice job. Now he drives. And Malcolm's going to have to step back and shoot a 3 instead. In and out. And Outlow is starting to assert himself a little bit here physically on both ends.
Yeah, he gives them a solid foundation in the middle that they can always go to if they need it.
Good ball movement. O'Leary, he loses it out of bounds. And Johnson will check back into the game for the Saints.
I think O'Leary would have shot that 3 in most situations, but given the fact that the Saints haven't been hitting him, I think he thought maybe I should just drive it in and kind of lost the handle there.
It was at this point in the first half that Julian Cruz caught fire. He is out of the game, and I think Windham needs to keep attacking with Mangual, getting to the basket, build these fouls up, because they do not have their best three-point shooters in the game right now. Mangual, baseline, and he's fouled by O'Leary, and he'll get to the line again. That's what we called for.
Yeah, almost every time he gets into the paint, it's either a bucket or a foul. He's just that type of scorer. We've seen them throughout the years, guys that just know how to score. And he's just able to contort his body and get the ball in a position where you can't block it. Like you said, Casey, he's got long arms and he's deceptive with the ball. It's kind of almost like a herky-jerky drive, and you don't really know where he's going until all of a sudden he's right there at the rim.
You know, we saw this last year. I saw, when the first time we got a chance to see him on game day, and we saw the numbers, right? We knew he was a scorer, and we were like, what is it, about his game? Is he a shooter or whatever? And the thing that stood out was he can get to the basket whenever he wants to. Sometimes the shots are better than others, but he can always get to the basket. And it's not always a pretty look, but he just knows how to get to the rim. Gray blocked. Three, back iron and no good and out of bounds.
And once again, we said it early on in the game, and I'm saying it again, using the eyeball test here courtside, Windham is every bit as athletic and physically gifted as this St. Bernard's team. It's going to come down to execution and who plays their game better here down the stretch.
Semillian can't get the three to go. Mangual, and there's Gray. You always got to know where he is. Marshall knifes to the basket. That's a bad set right there for Windham. Rebound, and instead it's two in the other way. Had a chance to cut it. Instead, they're down 7.
2-2-1 press from St. Bernard, forces a missed three.
Mangual misses the open look, and here comes Johnson now for the Saints. O'Leary finds Semillian. Basket is good, and the foul. The scintillating one goes to the line.
Man, just like that, it's back up to 9. It seemed like Windham had some traction there, and 2 baskets in a row, a steal and a basket, and then a quick 3 that St. Bernard's forced by using a different type of defense, and they get a 3-point play opportunity.
You cannot be sloppy with the basketball. The Saints will make you pay. And you can't be, you got to box out, things like that. Johnson with a rebound. Gray kicks out. Oh, Amir Gray! In the other direction, one last chance. A Gray ahead of the pack. And Amir Gray is turning it up a notch in the third period, and the Saints are up 13. Steal, Gray. Oh, he almost had a chance to really bring the house down, but still, 13 at the end of 3. Fourth quarter action. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
After the game, find us on social media at GameDayCT for our interview with the Foxwoods Player of the Game. And check out all the great entertainment coming this winter at Foxwoods. Go to foxwoods.com/entertainment. It's the Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. All that is good begins with a smile. At Waterford Dental Health, your smile is our top priority. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Contact us today. Visit us at waterforddentalhealth.com for more information.
You know, he's taken a back seat this year and played the unselfish point guard role, but don't sleep on Amir Gray. He is ruthless, he's fearless, and more than anything else, he is a constant presence, doing it with defense and steals, and you can see there, when necessary, the kid can score.
Yeah, he's so quick. His hands, his acceleration, he just goes from one end of the floor to the other end in the blink of an eye, and gets a lot of deflections, and he just knows how to play ball. And all of a sudden, you know, a couple possession game became 13 in the blink of an eye, and now Windham has to once again go back to what got them the lead at the end of the second half, and that's limiting the Saints to 1 possession and hitting some perimeter jump shots. They're going to have to hit some threes once again to chip away at this St. Bernard lead.
Yeah, first period, third period, St. Bernard's up 26 points. Second period, you know, they're down 15. That's what's going to need to happen if Windham's going to have a chance here in this one.
Saints in a 2-3 zone here.
Screen from Mangual. Now Travis Mangual, nice job for the Saints. High post to Tyler. Backdoor cut, Travis, and he'll go to the line. That's a great set from Windham.
Yeah, they were patient, and anytime this kid, number 23, gets it in the paint, he's either going to the line or he's scoring or both. Just can't say enough about, he's everything is advertising, and Coach Jones knew it, said we can't let him get going. He can beat you by himself, and he's certainly trying to.
And we're still seeing Windham creeping back. The difference from the third quarter is Lexi Mangual back in the ball game with the 3 fouls. He sat out, and it looked like they were going to be able to keep it at arm's length, but the arms got a little longer there as St. Bernard's went on that late run. Johnson, quick trigger 3. Good! AJ!
Just lost him in transition, Casey. What you were talking about earlier, you can't let the Saints get out ahead of you. You got to know where people are. Caught Windham napping.
Steele, up ahead. Similian. Offensive foul. Nice job by Tyler Mangual as he sprints down. Cedric doesn't really agree with the call, but I don't often see the kids agree with the calls. Go, you know what, sir? That was a fine call. I, in fact, was out of control and reckless in my opinion. But Cedric says, I don't think so. That was a little late. But I think it was more of the shoulder dip than anything else.
Coach Jones switching it up again, going with the 2-2-1. Full court press.
Tyler half a second late to Lexi. Johnson with the steal. Marshall now, and Wheeler will take over for the Saints. Johnson for 3, it's short, tipped. Mangual, Windham with numbers. Cruz, but Travis Mangual there to clean it up.
21 for number 23.
Marshall, that's a nice look, nice setup, good finish.
Once again, how do you break this 1-2-2 half-court trap? Get the ball to the paint. Get it to your big guys in the middle.
Mangual is going to be fouled on the floor. But I thought that was good defense. Johnson came over to help Marshall. Mangual loves the spin, and Johnson anticipated it. Just got to reach in there.
Once again, you know, I said it in the pregame and keys to the game, changing defenses in high school basketball is such a, I think, underutilized component. I know you want to stick to your strengths a lot, but when a team is used to playing against a defense for 12, 15, 20 possessions, then all of a sudden you send a different defense at them, almost all the time, that first possession that they face it, they do something that they shouldn't do, and it gives you momentum.
Marshall's going to get called for the foul on the block, and I think that was clean. Marshall said, I don't know what more you want. The St. Bernard's bench is irate. Fans certainly don't like it. Tyler Mangual is going to shoot 2. And I don't know what else there is to do if you're Amari Marshall.
Well, the very first thing he needs to do is clap hands with Colin O'Leary.
That's his 4th foul, so Marshall takes a seat. NFA up 15 at the half over Fitch.
And this is a big game for Fitch, that they've been trying to climb that mountain. As Coach Sylvan said, they're still at base camp after they beat Killingly. They were trying to get out of base camp tonight and beat one of those Division I teams.
Gonna get a timeout, Windham, as they're down 14. They got the basketball. They're gonna talk it over, Coach Martineau. It's a full timeout, so we'll take a timeout. This one is brought to you by the Burns Agency.
You buy better. Better with Burns. Much better. So much better with Burns. The right insurance at the right price. You buy better with Burns. You buy better with Burns. You buy better.
The Burns Agency can feel it, and we know you feel it too. Fall is here. Crisp air, falling leaves, pumpkin everything, and football. So much football. With a new season upon us, it's a great opportunity to take a quick time out and make sure your insurance program is in order. The Burns Agency is here to help you play by play. Strong coverage, dependable service, and touchdown savings. Give us a call or visit us online. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1930.
14-point deficit. The Windham Whippets talking it over. George Hathaway was behind the Windham bench listening to Coach Paul Martineau. George, what did Coach have to say?
coach was just telling them to continue being physical, that this is their game and they have it in their hands. As long as they just keep the momentum going, just keep playing their game, their energy out there. If they keep playing that game, it's theirs.
Windham right now, huge foul differential. They'll be shooting 2 the rest of the way. A lot of time left. First they got inbound. Mangual, Tyler Mangual, trying to force it down behind the back. There's Lexi. Can't get it to go. There's Tyler with the putback. It's a Mangual party.
Once again, you see the athleticism on display for the Whippets. A little behind the back pass, leaping to catch a bad pass, one-handed. St. Bernard's got to stay disciplined here, move the ball, get it to the middle.
Amir Gray is relentless tonight on the offensive glass.
Yeah, he's really reading how the ball is coming off the rim, and he's the first to get to it.
The first thing I ever called him was fearless. Second thing I ever called him was ruthless. Tonight, it's relentless.
St. Bernard's in an active 2-3 zone here. Once again, Coach Jones switching up the defenses, trying to give Windham different looks. This takes time off the clock.
Quick trigger 3, good from Taj Jones. And it's how they got back in it in the second quarter as well.
Yeah, I guess it also gives up open three-point shots, so gotta make sure that you find those perimeter shooters.
Out low, Wheeler pulls up, misses it, gets his own rebound though. No one boxed him out. Gray's got an open look, but he'll drive, hang, left hand, no good. And we're gonna get a foul. And that's gonna be in the double bonus already, so there's gonna be a lot of free throws coming here for Windham.
Yeah, and I know St. Bernard's isn't happy with the foul call, but you had a 7-footer and you had a floater from 3 feet. You make that shot, then you're not in the situation where you put the situation in the referee's hands.
So Tyler Mangual will go to the line. The sophomore's got a bunch. So far tonight, the foul's 20-9 in favor of Windham. And you're going to hear a lot about that. Mangual misses the front end. Marshall comes back in for O'Leary.
Yeah, there might have been a couple that were missed, but I don't necessarily think that the refs are calling a game that's unfair.
No.
St. Bernard's has been more aggressive with their hands all night.
Yeah, and if you're going to play that full court, reaching, pressing style, fouls are part of it. And Mangual is going to get called for the foul as he went for the steal, got there a step late. Good call, and it'll be St. Bernard's ball out of bounds.
No matter what happens in this last 3:47, I'm going to come away impressed with Windham. There's a lot of games left in this season. I'm impressed with the poise that Coach Martineau has on the bench, with the depth that his team has. And they came into a hostile environment tonight, took a punch in the first rounds, got up off the mat, and are going the distance.
It's a nice metaphor right there.
Oh, thanks, Case.
Wheeler, step back 3, good! 1, 2, 3.
2-3 zone for St. Bernard.
Mangual, no good. Tipped. Tyler Mangual, pump fake. Can't get it to go, and Amari Marshall rips that one down. Now he's going to push, and he turns it over. Here comes Travis Mangual. No foul. Other direction, it's getting a little sloppy. Here comes Similian. And Cedric calmly at the rim.
Yeah, he almost slowed down.
Mangual, nice job by Outlaw. Here comes Similian again. Pulls up for 3, short. Great hands by Gray. Wheeler for 3, got it! Tice with ice. And the lead is 18.
Just like that, you know, a couple bad turnovers, a couple missed shots at the rim, and St. Bernard's will make you pay. They'll make you pay more than any other team in this league. And it'll be interesting, you know, if George asks Coach Jones about what he thought in that second quarter, what the problem was. From our perspective, it's easy for us to say, you know, if you don't shoot as many threes, go inside, you probably keep a stranglehold on the lead. But Coach Jones also firmly believes, he said this to me many, many times, the worst thing as a player that you can have going through your mind is when you pull up for a shot, you're thinking to yourself, is this a bad shot? He does not want his players to ever have that thought going through their minds when they're shooting. And you got to respect that. You know, that's what he sticks with. That's his philosophy.
You know, we saw Wheeler give up a bunch of threes. That time he wanted it for the dagger, and he got it. You know, we saw Coach Martineau talking with the official, and I know what he was saying. What he was saying was, you let St. Bernard change your style. You just nailed us with 4 quick fouls because they were barking at you. You hadn't called those all half, and they got in your heads. Whether that's true or not, the Saints turned it, and now it's 15 as Jones knocks down a 3. The Saints are going to run right away.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that, though, is St. Bernard's changing the defense, and Windham wasn't able to get the easy shots that they were getting against the man. They had finally figured out how to attack the man, and Coach Jones switched it up.
So 2 things just happened right there. Lexi Mangual drew the foul. That's going to be his 4th, and it's putting the Saints in the 1-and-1, so Outlaw will be at the line.
Yeah, with 2:21, it looks like the Saints are firmly in control, but again, eyeball tests, physical, mano-y-mano. Windham looks the part. I think it's going to come down to execution if they meet again and who can play their game better. And obviously, if St. Bernard's is hitting more perimeter shots, they're unbeatable. That's a given. If they're hitting the threes that they missed in the first half, there's not a team in the ECC that could beat them. But when they're missing those threes, you can't. There is a little opening.
We have seen the Saints dispatch New London, dispatch Fitch, dispatch NFA, and are on their way to dispatching Windham. The question is going to be, which of them is best suited to beating St. Bernard's in the right setup? And that will be answered as the season progresses. Wheeler for 3. Good. Tice is heating up.
Yeah, and just different philosophies. You know, you see a team like East Catholic, they'll pull it out in that situation, and they'll burn the rest of the minute 34. But Coach Jones, just keep playing. We're just going to keep playing.
It's like a game of 3 points. Jones knocks down his, Wheeler knocks down his, Jones knocks down his.
And Windham still playing hard, forces a turnover on the sideline there.
So you've seen NFA, you've seen New London, you've seen Windham, you've seen Fitch. None of them are going to come with, unless Windham does something, but none of them are within 15 points. Wheeler! Don't hurt him!
You just can't lose him in transition. You just can't lose him. Like, that's going to be just should be in every coach's game plan moving forward when you play St. Bernard's.
So the question is, as no one's been within 15, and there's the nice, smart Wheeler for 3. Oh, Tice, that would have been just mean if that had gone down. So the question is, who is best suited to beat St. Bernard's? No one has, and none of them have been close. As Cruz picks it and scores, who is best suited to beat the Saints?
I think it's still, I like this Windham team. I'm very impressed with, like I said, the ability to take a punch, to come up here, or come down here, and play, the number one team in the conference. But I'm still going to say that if they're playing at their highest level, the New London Whalers give the Saints the biggest challenge because they have that athleticism that can just make the game above the rim, so to speak. So some of the offensive rebounds that St. Bernard was able to get tonight, if New London is doing what they're supposed to be doing, they shouldn't be able to get those against the Whalers.
Yeah, I think Windham, might be they are the second best team, but they're going to have to play a perfect game if they're going to beat the Saints. Jacob Widener into the ball game, Jonah Eddy, Shem Adams, Tyler Grudson, and Philistine in the game as well. Jack Philistine in the game. And I'll say it, if I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. A Philistine here with the Saints. As Adams misses the layup, no one for Windham got back, so he makes that one. And it's going to finish as a 17-point game or less, as Jones has one more look if he gets it off. And they won't. 17 is your final score. So down 2 at the half. The Saints turned it on in the second half and kind of made the statement we were looking for them to make, which is next team up, we take care of business. They remain the premier team here in the ECC. That was a convincing second half.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that locker room statement was by Coach Jones, but the team got the message. They woke up, they walked through the second quarter, but they got the message, came out in the second half. It started right from the jump in the third quarter. They threw the press on. It rattled Windham. They were able to get shots and regain the lead and never look back.
So as always, we're going to have our interview with the winning head coach, Mark Jones, as well as our Foxwoods player of the game. And overall tonight, you're right, 3 out of 4 quarters, the Saints played dominant basketball. There's a lesson to be learned from that second quarter. And I know Coach Jones is going to be emphasizing that lesson over and over. Our own George Hathaway is going to be with Coach Mark Jones and with our Foxwoods player of the game. And it'll be very interesting to see what Coach Jones, keys on at the end of this whole thing. Like you said, 3 out of 4 quarters were excellent. 1, definitely something to go to school on. So Coach Mark Jones and our Foxwoods player of the game.
Guys, here I am with Amir Gray, Foxwoods player of the game. I mean, dude, you have absolute hustle and heart on this team. Your energy brings this team new lights. What do you have to say about it?
I just got to play with hustle to help our team win. I'm not a big three-point shooter, I get to my spots and I play defense and I hustle, and that's what I do for the team.
You certainly lay it all out there on the court. You guys were down 2 at halftime. What did Coach tell you in the locker room so you guys get this big win here today?
He just said, we already know how we got to play, so just talk amongst our teammates and let's get this done.
How big of a win was this for you guys? How confident do you feel moving forward?
I feel pretty confident. This win is just another win, and we got to move on from here.
Awesome. Congratulations. Big win here today, Amir, and I love your hustle, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to move it over now to Coach. What did you tell your team, second half going into the locker room to kind of just move forward and get the momentum?
Well, we had a 14-point lead, and then we just relaxed. We started turning the ball over. They were just playing more scrappier than we were. So, I just told them they got to play harder and compete.
What did you see in your team in that second quarter that you didn't like, that you wanted to change moving into the third quarter and fourth?
Yeah, we just didn't play hard. We got complacent sometimes. And, when you get a lead, sometimes guys take their foot off the gas, and that's what we did. And they're a good team, so you can't do that versus good teams.
This game was certainly a test to your team and to your guys? How much trust do you have them to go to the bench and let them kind of come up big?
Yeah, we have a lot of trust in them. I mean, we have a lot of good players that can play, so we got to give them the opportunity to play in big games and in big situations and see how they, operate in those situations. So I thought they all did a really good job in the second half of really coming out and being disciplined and playing together.
Congratulations, St. Bernard's big win here today, guys.
Thank you, George. Yeah, 17-point win. I said earlier tonight that I think St. Bernard's has kind of, they've solidified themselves as the top team. Doesn't mean that there's not stumbles to come. It certainly doesn't put them at Mohegan Sun in the, Division I championship game. There's a lot of basketball to be played, but it runs through St. Bernard's right now. New London, Windham, Fitch, and even NFA have all shown enough to be in the conversation for the next team and in the conversation for who can beat St. Bernard's, which I think might be two different things. I think within that grouping of St. Bernard's, of the grouping of New London, Windham, Fitch, and NFA, I think their matchups with each other are all very interesting. I'm asking you, of those four, who's the best matchup to try to beat St. Bernard's? And you said New London. The question is, in that group of four, what team provides New London a problem? Because New London has to win to get there.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of teams that might be able to knock New London off, so you can't put the cart before the horse, so to speak. But really, I think the difference right now, is that the St. Bernard Saints are operating with a game plan and a philosophy that doesn't waver. And you saw that, personally, it would drive me crazy to see my team up 14 and just settle for that many threes when I know we could get to the rack. But that Coach Jones doesn't believe in that because he does not want to put a seed of doubt in any of his shooters. And what he said is, we just got to play harder. We got to win the 50-50 balls. We got to scratch and claw and not turn the ball over. We can't give them offensive rebounds. Those are the things that he's going to get upset about. And that philosophy, that discipline, that buy-in, I think is the difference right now. So as we get through the rest of the season, what team buys into a style of play that they're going to stick with and not experiment? Oh, tonight let's try this and see if it works. What team is going to stick with what they do and hone in on it and perfect it by the time they meet St. Bernard in the ECC tournament?
That's a great point. New London struggled tonight with Waterford. Fitch struggling mightily against NFA. Like any given night, teams need to kind of figure out what they are. Lexi Mangual had this 26-point debut coming back against Griswold, and it was kind of not invisible, but kept out of this game between, just the way the game's flow went and then fouls. So it shows on any given night how fragile, your status in the ECC is. But here's what I noticed about tonight. For those out, you're going to say, how do you guys decide who the Foxwoods player of the game is going to be? Some nights it's easy, right? Someone goes for 26. And I would make this argument. Any one of the Saints starting five could have been the Foxwoods player of the game tonight. Amari Marshall, I think was the leading scorer, had huge offensive rebounds, played unbelievable defense all night long. Ryan Outlaw had spurts in the game where he was unstoppable and was incredibly important on both sides of the ball for St. Bernard's. Tyson Wheeler, aside from being the smartest player on the floor at all times and always knowing where to be, we saw him make every right decision all night long and light up the scoreboard. Cedric Similian. I'm just guarding the league's highest scorer and scoring 20 myself and rebounding and any one of them. And Amir Gray gets it, and deservedly so. And Amir's been so embracing of his role on this team, not having to be the Foxwoods player of the game all the time. So it's good that he gets it tonight. But any one of those five could have been. And what a better testimony to the balance and unselfishness of this team that any one of them could have been.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself, and that's why you wonder if there is a team that could beat St. Bernard. But on any given night in high school basketball, they're kids. So what these rest of these teams have to do is, like I said, they have to figure out what they are strong at and perfect that and utilize that, moving forward. And I think, looking at the tape of these games that St. Bernard's has kind of let their foot off the gas and figure out, okay, there's going to be an opportunity for us maybe in this game. How do we prevent St. Bernard's from taking a 5-point lead and making it an 18-point lead? Well, number one, we got to get back on defense. When we go for offensive rebounds, we got to make sure that we don't send 5 to the offensive glass. When we're in transition D, we can't let Tyson Wheeler be standing alone on the perimeter, okay? And then we have to limit the Saints to 1 shot. So if you do those 3 things, if you prevent the Saints from getting run-outs by getting back on defense, if you find Tyson Wheeler in transition so he doesn't get open threes, and if you don't allow them to get second chance opportunities, I think some of these better teams will have a fighting chance.
I think Windham, it's funny because if you look at this game, and I told you Windham would have a dominant differential and be at the foul line all night long. Mangual would get to the basket whenever he wanted, and 2 other guys would knock down 3 or 4 threes apiece. You'd go, that's the recipe. And they lost by 17 points. So the recipe's there, and I think that's where Windham might have an advantage over the other group of teams in that the Saints have 4 6-point runs in them. How do you stop those 6-point runs from being 12-point runs? Windham's got the answer, which is get it to 23 and get him to the basket. He's a run breaker by himself. Not every team has the ability, like even as great as Tony is at NFA, he's not able to get to the basket as easily as Mangual is, size-wise and all that. So teams are going to have to kind of figure out what they are, but I do think you're right. The recipe for Windham was there tonight, but then the Saints are still 15 points better. And if you look at the Saints this year, they've lost twice. No games have been competitive except for 2 losses. They stood toe-to-toe with one of the 3 best teams in the state in Northwest, and they got absolutely obliterated by Ridgefield. Now, the Saints will tell you perfect storm against Ridgefield, but what it shows you is, on any given night, even a team like the Saints can throw in a flat tire. So, yes, I think the Saints are the team that's beaten everybody up and stuck with Northwest, but the flat tire is there as well because they're high school kids. So on any given night, anything can happen. So I think, we're a little past the halfway point. I have a much better handle on the conference than I did 2 weeks ago, but all it does is make me even more excited about what's to come.
Yeah, and if nothing else, we know that there's going to be a fierce fight for who's going to get the opportunity to be alongside St. Bernard should they hold serve like we expect them to do, but who's going to be at Mohegan Sun with them? Because like you said, on any given night, roll the dice, it could be any one of those teams that you mentioned.
And we'll be there regardless of who it is. We got a little bit of time. Your next one is next Thursday, where we flip it over to the girls' side of things and the much anticipated matchup. Welcome to Dudleyville. The Bacon Academy Bobcats, undefeated. Everything's better with Bacon, says Marissa Nudd and the crew. But they're going to Dudleyville, where Annalise Dudley, Serenity Lancaster, and the Whalers will be anxiously waiting. The top 2 teams in the ECC are going to go at it, and we're going to have all the action live for you next week on Thursday. So another resounding win here in Saints country. The little school on the hill played big. We had all of it. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in. For the coach, Chris Giusti, and all the game day crew, I am Casey O'Neill. Good night, everybody.